Hello everyone and welcome to all the new subscribers. Through about 5% of subscriptions have added over the last week or so, which is really nice. Thank you all, and I feel honored that you appreciate my work. Anyway, today is a powerful day, as every day is. However, today is the last day of the first month of the year. I think this is a moment of holding on, holding off, coming to a standstill, so to say, and looking back. Anyway, and looking forward even more so kind of a point of reorientation, and that's what it definitely is in the Mayan calendar. 12 Akbal, guided by the power of men. Now Akbal is the night, the blue night. Men is the eagle, so it's the blue crystal night which is guided by the eagle's energy, and it's all about abundance and crystallization. So that's actually a really good day to kind of take account where we are and where we're going, and that's what I want to do. I won't give you a preview pretty much into spring equinox because it's so super exciting what we see there. I just want to really start with this chart. This is the one of March the 20th when the sun crosses the 0 meridian, the 0 degree of Aries, and this is the heliocentric chart. Let's go back to the geocentric first, because that's where we really, that's our experience, that's where we start. So bear with me. Here, I have it actually open. I'm not even. Okay. Forgive me the technical difficulties. I surely do. So this is the spring equinox chart for Greenwich, the 0 meridian at 1/7 of the circle. That is how far Greenwich is north of the equator. So really in itself a powerful spot of receiving higher energy direct into the spine of Earth, which is the 0 meridian, you could say. And this is always a place to kind of look at the whole picture, literally boiling down Earth to one single point of experience, and that's definitely one of the levels of experience we are at. And it is important to really be there and feel it and fuel it, because we have enormous power these days if we are able to tune into the collective field without friction. If we allow just to be transported in a way, it really feels like that. I mean, we are creating reality around us as we go. It's like our energetic field, our magnetic field forms the structures ahead of us getting there. It's literally that way, like you put iron dust around a magnet. You see how the dust really shapes in particular patterns. These energies are real. We are emitting them. The more we are at peace within ourselves, the more big is our aura, is our energy field. And this is really a time of recreation of reality from ground up. That's what it looks. I mean, this let's just start here, yes, because this is really the trademark of the whole year. And I mentioned that before already. The one to focus at the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which actually in heliocentric astrology is already exact on March 14th, 1 week prior. And here I have the chart for you. I really want to go deeper into these individual charts, just showing you here when heliocentric Jupiter and Uranus are conjunct. And again, you have to believe me on that unless I really show it to you. This is 3, 5, 6. Let's see. I sure have the heliocentric and both open. No, for some reason not, but that's easy to fix. I just wanna redo this as an additional chart, and I add in here geo in this context. So we want to see it in geocentric geometry. and that is already here, and all the rest is the same. And then we go back to the first one and we change that back to heliocentric. Okay, now we are set. Now I can also load the other chart here. Okay. Okay, so this is when reload this one. 2, 3, 5, 6. Did I not do that yet? Let's see, redraw. Yes, here we go. Sorry for the technical problems. Okay, 22, 25. That's when in heliocentric geometry, from the Sun's perspective, Jupiter and Uranus are exactly in the same spot. This is really the beginning of the new cycle between the two, and Uranus and Jupiter together always bring novelty, surprises, expansions in unexpected, and kind of really taking us in, not just into the unknown but into the unknowable. That's literally, I mean, I keep kind of comparing it to 1969. Actually, I was wrong on the year number, but that was in July 1969. You can look it up in the ephemeris and the tables. That is when Jupiter and Uranus had a conjunction, and that was the year of the moon landings. Think of them what you want, it doesn't really matter. The symbol of moon landing has been what preoccupied the whole planet's collective. This was a big theme of the year, and it was this literal opening to a whole new dimension of reality. And in Taurus, it's all about bringing it down to earth, making it real. How much more can you say? This is the creation of the golden age, and it is done in a very hands-on way. As we looked at, these are the asteroids which take on the different roles. And the asteroids, in that sense, they also write the more detailed story of what's going on. But this is the bigger picture. March 14th, the heliocentric Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And look at the arrangement here. Mercury between these two, and Sedna on the other side, in just beginning of Gemini, very auspiciously placed. Sedna bringing all the secrets into the forefront, into the open, into the mental realm, coming out of many years in Taurus. And as this planet moves so slowly, 11,400 years it takes. Just think of that. That was around the time when probably the pyramids were built. At least that's one of the estimates, around 13,000. Anyway, it takes us back into the past, and it carries on this frequency from the deep, from the unfathomable. It is that energy which takes us to these levels of experience, which are difficult. Nobody really wants to go there intentionally, but they're super important. It's like diving down to our roots. And Mercury is the messenger in between, in hexagram 8 of all, which is union, bringing everybody onto the same page. That's literally what it is, and it is about bringing it literally down to earth. In Taurus, the Imum Curly, the depths of heaven. Beautiful, I love it. It's where we are rooted. It's literally when you put the plumb line. So this is the power axis of every chart, in your personal chart and in any mundane chart. This is your power axis. This is where you draw in power from the earth and the sky. where you receive from both ends at once. And then the horizon line, that is where this energy which comes in from both ends is naturally expanding outward into manifestation. This is the axis of the surface of the earth symbolizing. So this is where earth and sky are meeting. This is the interaction there. That's where things happen. This is where we make things real in first degree of Capricorn. I mean, this is a super important degree. This is the apex of the solar system as a whole, around 2 degrees Capricorn. That's the direction our whole solar system is traveling, very slowly, naturally, but that is the solar apex. So this is a super powerful degree of new creation. And that's probably the point which is even more important than the galactic center, which still is here at 27. So you see, these are locations anchored by the position in the starry night, a particular points. Yes, these are not stars, both are not one. The direction of our solar system traveling is a vector, so to say. It is the direction, gives us a direction, whereas the galactic center is naturally the gravitational center of the solar system where everything evolves around with. So anyway, it also shows that we are moving pretty much straight towards the galactic center. That is another interesting observation of our times, or at our position within the galaxy. You could say that we move in the direction where the galactic center is. So this really this very deep thirst is there to unite with something bigger. It is this strong attraction which actually also drives evolution in an allegorical way. So, okay, let me go back to this chart here. So it is all about bringing that knowledge down to earth, and from that knowledge, from knowing what we then know, we will rebuild. And there is Varda and Manve. These are two characters out of the Lord of the Rings. Those of you are familiar with them, probably everybody is. This has really been added to our collective library, so to say. Everybody kind of can connect with these characters. So Manve is well, let me look it up once more, because I'm still learning too. You see, we all are in the same boat, but well, maybe I do a special one on this one, because it's really worth it. But just without going too much into detail, Manve is at the very beginning of the zodiac, and Varda is exactly the galactic center. Now, Varda is all about light, from my memory. It's a female force which is basically expressing universal light, a very elevated energy, elf-like in a way, which also shows how we are definitely getting to a place where we more interact with the energetic world, the natural, the nature spirits, all these forces which are not directly physical, but which we can definitely start to be more receptive to and more in resonance to. Is it is really about getting back to earth and grounding ourselves. That's also why sitting 20 minutes every day is really a wonderful little help. It actually sets your energy, resets you in a very basic way. It's like what we used to do in earlier days, no more so much seemingly, is defragmenting your hard drive every so often, so that files don't get muddled around. And yeah, it's an interesting allegory, the whole AI computer, because it has it shows us this also about the blueprint of our biological brain or whatnot. So it's really it's a mirror. Anyway, discharging itself, and then yes, coming out of this really amazing activation when Venus and Mars, actually I really should play you this, it's because so much is happening, just bear with me. I want to do this as a dynamic chart here, so I go to animate chart. So this is now we go in steps of, no, this is the geocentric, I would like the heliocentric, so bear with me, change it. It was the 317, nope. Okay, there's the heliocentric one. I'm confused for a sec. Okay, let's just change it. Dynamic, animate chart, here we go. Okay, you see, this is what we want to look at. So we are here at March 14th, when we have the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Now we go in steps of days backwards, one day at a time. Then you see Mercury moving the fastest, but also you see it is really around these few days. Actually, see, this is March 12th. It's a super interesting fracture there in the time space continuum around March 10 to March 20, I would say, roughly. It is in a way that would be the often quoted 10 days of darkness, but again, this is an extremely symbolic to be understood, and it could be a time of literally going through a reset energetically in an unprecedented way, and much less these kind of lower frequency expressions, which in a way are important too, but they are secondary. It is literally the energy is first to be created, and then something can manifest. The energy is evoked, brought into this density we are living in, and that's why we are really the ones who are channeling, who are receiving the energy and anchoring it. That's again another aspect of the 20 minutes quiet, to just let your energy be anchored, be aware of your body, be aware of your breath, but in a very playful, unattached way, because it is all about observation in the end. And the more you are in the observer's seat, you are able to pretty much stay out of anything. I guess the stay out thing is important, neither attracting nor wanting to deflect, neither rejecting nor accepting. Then you energetically don't get involved. I guess that's the whole thing. Anyway, so let's see what I really want to say here. This is a tremendous activation of this zero Aquarius energy. You remember, so much happened in that degree already, always going back to December 2020, when Jupiter and Saturn had their meeting, and they were very, very easy to spot it because they were so close. It was an exceptionally close conjunction. As seen from Earth's perspective, I mean, you have to understand these planets are far distant from each other, but they just appear, as seen from Earth, in a particular position as looking close to each other. But again, they have also an what you call a latitudinal movement, so they can have different elevations above or below the ecliptic, the Sun-Earth plane, and that kind of can make a big difference in how it appears. But away from that, yes, this is a super powerful moment, 0 degree Aquarius. This is rebuilding from scratch, building a mission in a new location, a mission in California, I guess it is in the Sabian symbols, which at the time was, I mean, a brave entertainment, because you're going into a foreign land far away and are having that passion to share something which is dear to you, which is close to your heart. That's kind of the energy I'm getting out of that 0 degree Aquarius. Still in hexagram 60, I keep really emphasizing that hexagram 60 restraint, which is the first 2 degrees of Aquarius. The sign of Aquarius is still in that hexagram. It's kind of that overarching energy from Capricorn into Aquarius, which both are winter signs traditionally, which is about kind of that drawing away from the more physical level to a way more energetic, and kind of it's literally moving, taking energy out of the natural world. This is pretty much what the whole second half of the zodiac is about. First 6 months you build, you really get deep into, identified with and such, and then you start to become more objective and kind of separate your energy to become free again, and are ready for a new cycle to dive again into the, whatever you could call it, the matrix on a higher level. That's kind of how evolution works. It's a spiraling motion. So this is a super powerful time we are heading into. Yes, also very disruptive, eventful, and this shows best here in this chart here, which is when Sun and Gong will have their yearly conjunction. Naturally, it's as the Sun travels through the skies, which literally is us traveling. We just see it that way. And I keep also saying it is our perception. Yes, we see the Sun, and this is our truth. This is how we are perceiving reality around us. Yes, you can say there's then a more objective truth, which is different, and this is actually a nice way to understand that my truth might be 100% true for myself, but it most likely is not a universal truth, because as soon as I'm moving to a different coordinate, things appear differently. I guess it's pretty easy in a way. Astronomy, astrology help us to really also on that level kind of to detach in a way, and be able to take on multiple vantage points, travel, jump from one to the next, look at reality through this angle and then through that, and this gives you a multi-dimensional perspective, which is really blasting us open to a much more fluid state. There's no more fixed identities necessary. We are adapting as we go. Every moment there's a very gentle nudging, adjustment, falling in line with with the wind, with the trend, with the flow. It is literally that. I mean, it's already Sufi stories are exactly telling that that yes, just drift with life, allow to be taken wherever it wants to take you, which I guess we anyway have to do. There's at some point no choice. I guess there's way more which are important coordinates we have to touch on. The more we just allow life to take us there, the less we are really struggling, and also the more we are hopefully enjoying it, and the more you can allow for extremes, the more you are centered too. So touching on extremes is definitely super important. So Sun Gong Gong, I'm already giving you all that energy. This is Gong Gong. Gong Gong is the headbanger, the one who says, oh, how could I not have seen that? It's that sudden flush of insight which can make you go mad, at least to some degree. Hopefully we can keep that in reins. On a more collective level, that is definitely a concern and a focus we should have, to be there for each other as things go bonkers and flow apart and whatnot. So this is that Chinese. Okay, let me roll back a little bit, because many of you might not be familiar with Gong Gong. Gong Gong is one of the 7 dwarfs, which are the 7 major bodies, celestial bodies in the Kuiper belt, the largest ones, and Gong Gong was the 7th to be discovered of that series, named after a Chinese water dragon. And there's an interesting twist in that. That was the first one that it was open for the public to vote on a planet's name. So this in itself makes this energy a kind of definitely brought it into the collective attention at a way stronger manner than it usually would have done. So it was already kind of widely known. Thousands of people naturally had voted, and there were 2 other names proposed from the I guess one from the Germanic and one from the Nordic tradition of deities, of heroes. But the Chinese Gong Gong water dragon won the race, and that was then I guess officially the time of naming. I have all these charts. At some point I might do something like that. It's really super important, interesting in itself to see a planet's discovery chart, and naturally when it's been named, and then when it's... Anyway, so Gong Gong is the deity who, after losing a kind of a battle, more I would say it was a kind of a contest, and he lost the contest, and the other, this fire dragon, was then put in charge to rule the heavens and earth. So Gong Gong was mad, and he rammed his head into a mountain range which literally tilted Earth off its anchors. One of its footholds broke. As the story goes, the axis tilted and rivers started running backwards. So that shows you the magnanimous story behind it, which again, you take it literal or take it allegorical. There is definitely a literal aspect to it, particularly as the Chinese system as such is, in my opinion, the most practical, the most hands-on, down-to-earth. Just look at the I Ching and read the different oracles. They're all social, interactional, human interactions. So it is that level of interaction which we have in the Chinese culture very, very strongly as it's really heaven and earth are very narrowly connected, which makes me think of all these low range hills and mountains in China with the mists over top. It's kind of heaven and earth really touches there very strong. Okay, and naturally when the sun is conjunct a planet, at the time it was still named 2007 OR10, that was the original designation after discovery. So when a planet is honored to meet the sun, it's literally merging its frequency into solar consciousness. That is what happens. So it is really showing us the next spiral of how this particular force will be implemented in this dimension, will manifest itself. So first of all, it's under this beautiful Venus-Mars conjunction. Just the day prior there was a Venus-Mars conjunction. This is in itself recreation, something new. Bring it on. Now what? A whole new level is added on, and this could be the natural consequence of one of the Earth's foot breaking off, literally saying, and that is what we see happening actually on all levels. It might well be that the nature is pulling even and adding on its own interpretation of the energies, which are definitely, yes, all in the red. I think we all experience these times as extreme. They are extreme, and the extremes demand for solutions, for resolutions, for shifts, seismic big shifts, consciousness-wise, as well as probably quite literal. Just looking at this Uranus, I mean, the chart says it all. And Pluto and Mars, yes, they're 7 degrees apart now, but nevertheless Mars is already tuning into the square with Jupiter. There's actually this is a powerful force already. This is actually an applying square. This is extremely real energy, wanting to leave a mark, an imprint. This is a statement, and yes, this is a powerful chart, in even more so as Jupiter comes out of this conjunction with TX300, which I like to call it the trucker planet, of the really the trademark, I would say, of the 2022, it was January 2022 trucker convoy in Canada. Yes, bring it on. Make yourself big. Speak loud. Be impressive. Put on your big hat, maybe even your whatever, your wig, whatever makes sense, to impersonate something which is your message. It is making yourself, giving yourself the stature to be the one who is looked at. And I mean, this Jupiter has been already tuning in here in by the time of February 24th, I should say, this is now the day we're looking at. Yes, February will be really out of the box, so complex too. I mean, many of the storylines we already see where they're going. Just look at what's happening in Europe and pretty much every country. The farmers now are blocking roads, and everything is starting to break apart, literally. So, I mean, this is the time we have been preparing for, if any, in terms of having a little bit of backup stock in your basement, to be able to survive a few weeks at worst without at least some of the things which you're used to have. It will be much more local, if at all, still functioning. So yeah, it could be international disruptions, things of that nature should be expected under the circumstances. I mean, you really have to know a planet a bit better than just from where it is at the time. And I have happened to do my studies on Gong Gong. So Gong Gong is rising out of the Sun-Earth plane, and every planet has one of these spots where it kind of comes up from the underground into the open, into the upper ground. That degree is 7 degrees Pisces. So that is where this energy is anchored into our reality, literally. Gong Gong has a orbit, travel time around the Sun of 550 years. So this is another dimension we are dealing with. Pluto has about half of that. So in that sense, it is even a deeper tone, a more basic frequency. So it will be actually for the whole century coming into 2100 and something. Gong Gong will express through the sign Pisces. That's how slow it moves, because it's also the area where it's farthest away from the Sun, naturally moving the slowest. But what I really want to emphasize here is the Sun and Saturn here exactly at the flanks of this place, 7 degrees and 14 minutes. It is exactly in heliocentric perspective. So Sun, Saturn and Mercury, again, this is a beautiful group of planets. Here at the moment when Gong Gong and the Sun are recharging each other, and naturally this always goes both ways. As soon as energy channels are open, the energy is flowing, and it's always in sort of a circuit. Even though you might only see or measure energy moving in one direction, it has to be another equally strong pull in the other direction, in another dimension probably, but there is always balance. That is one of the powerful insights in reality. And once you're knowing that balance, and this is something we try to find in all ways too in our lives. Just think of standing on a skateboard, for example, how you have to really constantly, every moment, have that balance. So this is helping us to find that balance within the very unstable grounds of Pisces these days, even more so with Neptune in here still. I mean, this has been going on since 2011, so we have been really already, we are quite seasoned in dealing with this. Everything is moving, it's a mist, it's kind of a dense cloud you're often finding yourself in. I guess we all do that. It is that kind of energy still. But this is full moon, you see. I didn't even mention that yet. I mean, the moon is just hours away from being exactly full, though. So it will be this Pisces, Sun, Virgo, full moon, which is really then bringing down that Gong Gong energy to Earth. Dispersion is the hexagram here, which literally is the wind coming over the water and evaporating the water. It is that phase change from fluid to gaseous, which in that sense is literally leaving form behind, going into a higher dimension thing. Again, this is the basic energy signature of that part of the zodiac, where the sun and the moon will meet here on February 24th, and then the black moon and Juno. So this is an intense chart. Really, things will be shaken through quite radically. That's another of the trademarks of this chart. I mean, there's so much going on here around that time. This is a reality check in a very, very real way. Okay. Yeah, it becomes an individual experience. Aries, everybody is experiencing it from a different angle, but it definitely is an acknowledgement of sorts of something that has to be corrected, something which is all of a sudden becoming a sore eye, I guess, something which you all maybe we knew it already. Part of ourselves knew it already. It was something which was kind of in the fog, but over time, and everybody is on their own schedule. Everybody is moving at their own speed, and everybody will reach to a relatively higher level than before. But it doesn't mean that everybody is able to come all the way. It is again one next huge step in the right direction. Yes, in the right direction, absolutely 100%, because this is again, let me really go back to out of this more dramatic chart of February 24th into the beautiful heliocentric March 14th. So there's lots happening in these 20 days, or not even, what is that? February 24th, that's there's 29 this year, so there's 19 days. So this is an interesting window there, and then into the spring equinox, and yes, that is okay. Right, which one I wanted to still show you quickly, but before I forget, this one it was, you see here it was, the heliocentric Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Here it is in heliocentric. That's the same moment from Earth's perspective, and the moon perfectly between Jupiter and Uranus. I mean, how much more do you need to see? This is, the moon is the lens which we see the cosmos through. It is literally the one object which moves at the pace which makes us understand the 3D nature of the depth of the universe. Yes, the sun does the same thing, but the sun is so bright we cannot see anything. It outshines everything. That is the nature of the solar principle. It is that I'm it all. I'm all of it. You don't need to see anything else. That is the essence of everything. Is light. That's me. That's the sun. However, the moon is in that sense way more gentle and allows itself to be seen as a mirror, as a lens. And so the lens of the moon in Taurus, which is all about success, it's one of the best moon placements in separating conjunction with Jupiter. Yes, I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful chart. This is hexagram 2, the receptive. It is really, we are extremely receptive to something new. I guess it is a sign of times that there's such a frenzy, such a craziness on all levels, and so many people are confused. They don't know what to think anymore, and which actually is really a good thing too, because this brings you to a place where you might start asking questions. And every inquiry, every discovery starts with a question. We have to have an open mind and tuning ourselves towards wanting to know. And this is this is a beautiful, beautiful chart. The moon here in the middle at 1549. And again, this is really the essence which you're looking at. That's the heliocentric perspective. This is the essence of what is happening. Yes, again, I'm back in the geocentric view of that situation, but it is the background energy. It is what is coming in through the sun's rays, the photons, the electrons, the neutrinos, all the particles which constantly are streaming out from the sun. You have to think of the sun as a fire which is combusting its energy in each direction, as being a spherical, literally omnidirectional, you could say. So the sun has that fire which is then received by us as nourishment. This is what we live on. We are extensions of the sun. Literally, without the sun there would be no life on Earth. It would be all a dead rock and cold. And so it's literally the miracle, the mystery of the sun is the highest of all. No scientist even attempts to understand the sun. There's questions upon questions upon questions. Nobody knows, because we cannot go there either. It's too hot. At least as long as we stay in this physical configuration we cannot go and travel through the center of the sun. Yes, maybe if we phase shift into another frequency band, this is no problem. That's where we are going. It is really, we are in the age of Aquarius now, in a very real sense. This has been a slow transition, if you want, and it had many chapters to it, but definitely we are at the place where the sun is rising in the age of Aquarius. I always like to refer to my good friend Michael O'Connor, who brought the idea that the age of Aquarius, he's saying, started in the age of Renaissance around 1400, 1500. That was the midnight point. That's when the new day starts at 0000, and then the first 6 hours the sun is still in darkness. Then comes dawn. That was the 20th century, and now 2020. 24, I think we just about now where the sun is now clearly appearing over the horizon. So this is a big shift we are in, and it is beautiful that the ruler of Aquarius at the time when all that is fully manifested is in the earth sign Taurus, in embrace with Jupiter. It was all about expanse and adventure and learning to look at something from a higher plane, from a bigger perspective. Jupiter always is expansive. Jupiter is the arrow, the shooting arrow, and the arrow is traveling at speed, at light speed sometimes, or even more. Yes, truly a powerful time we are getting into. I want to leave it at that for today. Maybe one more last look at the Aries ingress of the sun when the sun crosses the equator from south to north, when the days are exactly equal all over the Earth's globe. The Moon-Pluto opposition. Yes. Power to the people. That's what this means. Yeah. Solaris is the ability to change fixed tendencies in amazing ways. Recognition of wrong cannot be unseen and forgotten. A transformer it is, this energy. It stirs the desire for transformation. I like that. It's beautiful. We need the polarity to the Aquarian and energy, to bring it down, to make it real. This is what the four fixed signs really have in common. They're holding things in place. So it is the anchor. It's the strongest anchor point is in the fixed sign, the mid-season signs. That's also why the Chinese New Year is so important, as being bring energies down to Earth, into the real dimension. The Chinese, whatever. I keep raving over it because it is a powerful, probably very old system. I would guess over 100,000 years old. That's one of the oldest cultures. We still have kind of the wisdom was kept, never really drowned like in other places. A proof of that is that there are star maps of the Great Dipper which have been found, and as we now can calculate the speed of stars traveling, and yes, they are very slow. They used to be called fixed stars. I mean, we still use that term in astronomy, but every star has its own speed naturally, and over 100,000 years, yes, a star can travel a visible distance, and that's what we found in archives, in scriptures. There was drawings of the Big Dipper, I would say the D1 constellation everyone knows, because it is the most brightest stars, beautifully positioned against each other, close to the polar North Star. So that means they are visible throughout the 12 seasons on the northern hemisphere, where 90% of the population lives, by the way, if you didn't know that yet. The Venus-Mars, Saturn conjunction here bears to be understood too. Venus in Pisces is compassion, and deep universal love. It's one of the best placements in a collective way spoken, for sure, and it comes to help Saturn. Saturn is always the teacher. Saturn is the one who brings us back to the baseline and makes us look at the small print and do the basics and adjust to the physical universe, follow its laws, and yes, and there are natural laws, and so it is all of that in a more positive way. Now we are getting to help Saturn, and this also means coming to terms naturally with what already has happened. The North Node Mercury here with Chiron here in the geocentric perspective, this is the direction of evolution, the North Node, the lunar North Node. So it is again another way said, this Chiron energy of making the problems visible. It is a good physician who is able to come up with the right diagnosis, who sees the reasons behind what is out of balance, and then in understanding the reason we can find the remedy. It is as simple as that. Once you understand the problem in its complexity, usually the solution is within the question. Anyway, the last thing I want to say, yes, this is where we saw the moon in the Uranus Jupiter heliocentric alignment of March the 14th, and that is now where the part of fortune is together with Jupiter. And in geocentric astrology, you see Jupiter is still approaching Uranus, so it already has happened, and we still lag a little behind in fully realizing what's truly going on, what's truly building up to. I guess yes, we're lagging a little bit behind. Which is an interesting way also of being really even more pulled by the future, by the wonderful possibilities, imaginations we have, those visions of our future. This is really what pulls us through, and that's what we should focus on, and that is what this chart also tells us. Yes, it's thrilling, it's nice, it's beautiful, and it's all happening by itself as we nourish it with the energy. And that is again my final line here today. We are manifestors. We have infinite powers. Each one of us is a universe in him, herself, itself. And as soon as we tune into the physical frequency, that it's our body, our physical body, which is really making the link. And if we are living in our body, with our breath, honoring all its needs and aches and whatnot, and really taking well care of it, then your mind changes, because then it is literally you are informed of what you need to know. It's all happening naturally because you're tuned into the natural rhythms and cycles on that unconscious level. And sorry about that. So we are connected on way deeper levels than we are aware of when we are tuned into our body, and we can directly, by intention, really feeling how your generating energy from your body, how it ripples out, how you're taking it in through your power axis, down from the heavens, from the sky, and up from earth, how it's merging and melting and meeting in the middle and then expressing in itself again out into the world. So it's that frequency we generate. If you tune into that, it gets ever more powerful. We are the creators. Keep that in mind. Thanks for joining in and listening.